Wasn't long after the honeymoon when Dave was out in the garage and he was getting ready to go hunting and fishing all in one trip, and he had the fishing rods leaning up against the wall and his guns he was getting all ready, putting them into the proper cases, and his new wife came out into the garage and she looked at Dave, she looked at the guns, looked back at him and says, "You know what, sweetheart, now that we're married, I think you should give some thought to selling off all of your guns and all of your fishing gear and so on." He had a long look at her and he was horrified, and and then he says, "You, for a minute there, you sound like my ex-wife. You didn't tell me you were married before." "I wasn't." Just saying. The allocation in the federal budget, most recently, I'm talking about Canada now, is $200 million to improve Indian education. And Paul Martin, who was a prime minister for a couple of minutes in Canada, he's come along and said, "Hey, that's not fair. That's discrimination in education funding." He goes on and on. I mean, this guy, he's all pro-Indian. I mean, the Indians get more money than white people do for just about everything, and he's always doing that. Give. This is coming from the guy, by the way, that got $250 million given to him that we know about from the government, so he could go off and buy some ships and take them to the Caribbean and register them there and never pay taxes in Canada, and he was a leader in the country. Oh, but he's a liberal. Oh, he's a liberal, and he took from us. Oh, but I repeat myself, don't I? I mean, why don't these guys just kind of move somewhere else and get over themselves? Democracy will work if you leave it alone. The Indians get all kinds of money. What they do with it, if they squander it, maybe that's their business. Let people live and let live. Have you ever heard the verbiage before? He's wrong, he's a commie, go away. In Canada, 21,300 sexual assaults are reported each and every year, and 88%, they say, I don't know where they get that number from, the sexual assaults against Canadians are not reported to police. So you got 21,000 and change women every year saying, "I was assaulted, I was raped." So you got like 88% of all the people that don't report it. The numbers are just staggering. And then you have people like Paul Martin and other people in Canada, the left-wing whacks, that are saying women should not be allowed to protect themselves. It's against the law. You can't use mace. If you use mace, you go to jail for 3 years. That's a prohibited weapon. You can't use bear spray unless you're up in the mountains and you want to actually spray a bear. You can't spray somebody who's trying to rape you. You got to say, "I wish you were a bear." You can't do any of that kind of stuff. You get all the left-wing nuts that say that. And you got these kinds of stats, Indians and all this money and stuff that they talk about all the time. What about the health and welfare of our citizenry? Women should have the right to protect themselves. You go into a parkade at midnight, you should be able to pull a gun out and shoot a bad guy if he attacks you. As long as you're trained and everything else, go ahead. And if you don't want to do that, at least use a rubber bullet. Use a taser gun. Again, you go to jail if you use one of those. Use mace, use pepper spray, use something. Use your head. That would be applicable to all the liberal commie guys. Republican Governor Sam Brownback in Kansas recently has signed a bill saying, all you people in welfare, if you're truly able to work and you're just a bum, we're not going to pay you anymore. Go get a job now. Why are we bringing people in from other countries to work when you people sit at home and don't do anything? It's a pretty good bill. Other people, politician people, should take note of that to use it in their state or province and or countries. I mean, don't allow these people to sit around and do nothing. I mean, you're enabling them and you're hurting the whole system. May, that's her name, Elizabeth May. It is May that we're in right now. I confused myself for a minute. She's a leader of another commie party. She calls it the Green Party, and she's so far left, I tell you what, if she was hungry, you'd have to feed her with a slingshot. I mean, she's way over there. And recently she embarrassed all Canadian people because she addressed Parliament Hill journalists and politicians at their annual press gallery, and she was cussing like a truck driver, and she said the F word a time or two or three and a whole bunch of other goofy things. Then she went on to talk about this criminal, the guy who murdered people, and he was over in that place in Cuba, and he got out, and the government of Canada saying he shouldn't be out, and she's saying he deserves a second chance. There shouldn't be a second chance for bad guys. Hang him. What size is your neck? We're going to put you down now. That's what should happen. Capital punishment is a good thing. It's not about revenge. It's about justice. And you got her, she doesn't have a clue about justice. And in her speech, she went on and on to say everybody needs to welcome this guy. What you should do with that guy, if you want him out there, Elizabeth May, maybe he can stay at your house. Hey, there's a whole bunch of other murderers and rapists. They can come and stay at your house too. Son of a gun, y'all come back here tomorrow. We're going to have more for you from the right. See ya.